Interesting questions and important answers and opportunity. This is Thoughtful Beliefs.
Have you had a moment of truth in your life where life brings you face to face with reality? Am I ready for this exam? Would she accept going out on a date with me? Will the Cubs actually come back from a 3-1 deficit to win the World Series since the first time since 1908? Some moments of truth are harsh, some are awesome. Usually it takes a new piece of information to bring the reality home. And unfortunately, some of the information we're going to show next will be new to many. You might be surprised to find out there's only a handful of options as far as what could be the cause of the universe. In all the scientific and philosophical literature, there's only 4 general ones given. And with the new discoveries in science, the scoreboard lights up. Now, the universe having a beginning, again, only leaves 2 options. Either there was a purposeful, intelligent cause, or there wasn't. It was just pure nature and chance. And again, the different belief systems divide very cleanly on this issue. Let's start off on the belief systems. What are the options as far as if you just think it's nature and chance, if there's no purposeful, intelligent agent involved? There are many people that still think there's a natural cause to the universe. Some of the ideas in this are like quantum vacuum fluctuations created the universe. Or a lot of Eastern religions believe that all the God and the universe is all one. That's kind of all wrapped up in a natural cause of the universe. But science has already disproven a natural cause. If it's all of nature that came into existence, nature can't create itself. It'd be like you giving birth to your parents, as Dr. Turek likes to say. So when you want to say X creates Y, that makes sense. To say that X creates X is nonsense. If all of nature is what came into existence, you have to have a cause that's outside or transcends nature. So a natural cause, it's been disproven. Well, what about if it's not a natural cause, but let's say it's not God. Maybe there's something outside of nature that's like transcendent nature. It's different from ours. Like, for example, maybe it's part of a multiverse, so there's some kind of different nature there. So what about something like that? Again, with the evidence that we now have, there's fatal flaws with that. The problem is, the nature of nature is it's ceaselessly changing. So, once we found out that the universe had a beginning, there was a bunch of studies done trying to determine, is there any way around this? And Bohr, Guth, and Vilenkin, they spent about 10 years and 5 papers writing on this. And what they found is, even if there is a multiverse, the bottom line is even that would need a beginning and require a cause outside of itself. So there's no way to escape the need for a cause outside of nature or even metaphysical nature. Because if nature is ceaselessly using up its energy and it existed forever, it would have burned out all that energy a long time ago and we'd be in heat death, but we're not there. So clearly we did not have an eternal universe. Now there's one way you can get around it. If you have nature outside of time, then it's not changing and it won't use up all its energy and end up in heat death. But the problem with that is, when you look at the equations that describe the natural laws, inherent in all of them is time. Here's an example of the radioactive decay of an atom. Notice the T in there, that's time. When you take T down to 0, meaning time is not changing at all, then whatever you started with is what you end up with. So there's no change at all. So even some kind of type of nature that's outside of time isn't a candidate. Here's a quote from people directly involved in the scientific study. The world began abruptly in an act of creation. That there are what I or anyone would call a supernatural forces at work is now, I think, a scientifically proven fact. That was from astronomer Robert Jastrow and echoed by astronomer, physicist, mathematician Sir Arthur Eddington and others. So what's left out of all the possibilities written about in scientific or philosophical literature? What are possible causes of the universe? There's only 2 left. One is abstract objects. Abstract objects, some things proposed like swirling mathematical points, or Stephen Hawking in The Grand Design said a law like quantum gravity. These abstract objects could have brought the universe into existence. But there's a problem. By definition, abstract objects don't cause anything. They cannot create physical change. As Oxford mathematician John Lennox stated, the laws of arithmetic never added anything to my bank account. Abstract objects don't exist in cause and effect relationships. They don't have the potential to make any physical change. And let's look at a law of gravity. Here's the law that can show you a force of gravity between a couple objects. Now here's the thing. If there is no nature in existence, M1 and M2, those are both masses. They go to zero. When that goes to zero, then the force in that equation goes to zero. Nothing happens. Abstract objects could not be a cause of the universe. So the only one we are left with, out of all the writings that have been done on this, is an immaterial mind. And that possible cause has already a number of other evidences to support it, as noted in other videos. A close friend of mine and I were watching a Michigan State game. I'm a big Michigan fan, he's a big State fan. And they showed this Michigan State fan totally downcast. And my friend said, "You see that guy? That's me." Because there's only a minute left and his team, all U of M had to do is kick the ball off and just stop anything from happening, game over. So I was kind of laughing at him, and he had then gone on to say, well, here's what would have to happen for us to win. We'd have to block the punt and get it into the end zone right away and not have any penalties and use the time. And I'm like, yeah, that's what would have to happen. And I'm thinking, why are you even going over this in your head? Then it did happen exactly as he just said. Now, instantly I go into my opinions. Well, Michigan's a better team. They deserve this. And my hopes. Well, maybe there was a penalty and they'll call it back. Or just beliefs that, oh, there's a little bit extra time left. We can still have a little bit extra time. But there's a reality to the situation. The scoreboard shows it. And when they showed that scoreboard, I got a good chance to say to my friend, you see that guy? That's me. That's what's known as a surrender cobra. That's when you realize it doesn't matter what your opinions and perspective or anything is. It just matters what reality is, and that's on the scoreboard. It's game over.